In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to dip correctly so you can achieve the tones that you can see in your reference. Let's go. Quickly going over the setup, you can see that I've got 6 pots of black, 5 being washes, 1 being pure black, starting from light going all the way up to dark. The machine that I'm using is the Fold Pro by Dragonhawk. The needles that I'm using is a 9 curved mag, a 13 curved mag, and a 43 curved mag for the purpose of this demonstration. So before we start, there's just a few things that I want to go over. Here you can see that I've got 6 pots, starting from my lightest on the right hand side, going all the way over to the darkest on my left. The amount of different tones that you choose to use is entirely up to you. If you choose to use just 3 pots, a light, medium and dark, that is absolutely fine. If you choose to use 12 pots, that's absolutely fine. I like to use 6. I find that gives me the best amount of range possible to get me through my pieces. Now, when it comes to actually dipping into your pigment, it's really important that you don't dip too shallow and you don't dip too much. If you dip too much, what's going to happen is when you start to tattoo, you're just going to get blobs and big splodges of pigment everywhere. If you dip too shallow, you're not going to get any pigment. Dip and then out. Now, excluding black for a minute, I have 5 tones, lightest, darkest. Between these 5 tones, if I was to dip in between, that would give me 10 tones. So that is the base. So right now, I'm just going to show you that. So now dipping into my lightest to get the correct amount of pigment in there, dabbing off any excess, I'm going to give you the lightest tone, starting over here. Just going to do a few passes. Now with fake skin, it does take a little bit more to actually work on, but when you are doing it on skin, it won't be as bad. So there we have our first light tone. Now, if I want to go a little bit darker, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run in my light and then I'm going to run in my dark, and I'm going to do an equal dip between them both, and then we're going to go again. Okay. And now we can see we're a little bit darker between the two. Now we're going to dip straight into our second one up, and we're going to go again. And now we're slightly darker again. But because we've used between these two, the increments in value are only going up slightly. So now if I was to do light, and then jump straight to 2, my second darkest, you can see that we're matching here, and there's a bigger jump. You miss out this in-between gap, and these in-between gaps are what you want to get those subtle changes in tone on the reference that you are tattooing. So for the majority of artists, just dipping in between an equal amount to give you that tone on the in-between of these two should be absolutely fine. However, what happens if you want to just go for those little subtle changes? Well, what you can do is you can run in one, and then instead of going for an equal amount of run in my second darkest, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip. So I've ran and dipped, and then I can start tattooing. So you are on that lighter side, but it gives you just that little bit more darkness. So just to give you a quick example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run in my light, and I'm going to start putting just a nice base layer of light tone down. There is a base layer of tone laid down. Now let's say that this area is a cheek and it has just such a subtle change. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to run in my light and I'm going to dip in my second lightest. And I'm going to start working over the top. Now you can spend more time obviously getting your blends and your transitions nice and smooth, but you can see that starting to work up that long dip into a short dip, that there's a slight variation in tone. And then say that we want to, you know, darken this up even more, that's when we would run in our light and run in our dark. And you can do this all the way through your values. So that is dipping in between. Sometimes you want to do a long dip and then a short dip. You want to do an equal amount of dips. It all depends on the reference that you have and the tones that you are looking at. But you don't always have to do a dip and a dip. Sometimes what you might want to do is just vary up the level of saturation. So for example, have a look at this. So here I am again, just putting a nice base layer of light down. So there we have our basic light tone. Now I'm going to dip in light again, but this time I'm going to go over just a few more times So here you can see that I've used that same light tone on both of these. The only difference is I've varied up the level of saturation. This was a nice light layer over the top. This was more passes with the same tone. So you can see you can manipulate your tones like that. So it isn't always in the dip, and understanding when to do this and when you can get away with this is really important. Now what I want to show you is how you can manipulate your tones with your needle. So here I have a 9 curved mag bug pin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dip into, let's say, my medium tone. And I'm going to do an equal amount of passes between each needle. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, now we're going to go on to that 13. Again, we're going to dip in. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to wipe away. Now you can see the variation, same amount of passes, same tone, just a different needle. And then finally we're going to go on to the big boy, which is 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see now that it's even lighter. Again, this was a 9 curved mag bug pin. This was a 13 curved mag bug pin. And then this was a 42, maybe even a 47 curved mag bug pin. But you have the darkest because it's a 9, you have the second darkest because it's the 13, and then you have the lightest because it's the bigger needle. So manipulating your tones with needle also can work, not just the level of saturation or the dips in between. Now it's really important that when you are dipping, you dip from light to dark. Never go from dark to light. If you go from dark to light, you are just going to put all that dark into your light and you're going to contaminate that light, which is going to darken that pigment. So what's going to happen is you are going to have inconsistencies in the tones that you are laying down. Now over the course of the day and working on skin, you are going to be mixing all types of plasma into each one of these tones. So you may need to change out the pigment halfway through the tattoo, depending on how plasma-y that client is. On a side note though, if your client is excessively plasma-in, that could be something that you are doing. Now what I will also say as I'm running in this medium is you can knock that medium back if you think that it's a little bit too dark. So I'm going to lay this medium down now. And then again I'm going to run in medium. But this time, instead of going straight onto skin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip in water. And then I'm going to run again. Again, this is the same tone. But with water. Give that a quick wipe. And as you can see, medium, medium, medium straight, medium watered. So as you can see, there is a multitude of ways to achieve something. You can go with the equal dips between. You can, you know, add more saturation, do more passes, get that deeper saturation in there. Yes, it's the same tone, but it's going to look darker because of that extra saturation. You can vary up the needle, going from that 9 curved mag to that 13 to that 42, 47, whatever it is. You can see that that 9 curved mag tightly packs into that area more than that 13 does and more than that 42 does, again giving you more saturation. So there is so many ways of doing it. It is all in the way that you feel works best for you, and that is it. Now, although I've given you these tools and shown you multiple ways of doing something, you still have to remember that these techniques are to be used alongside what you already know about tattooing. But that is the last video of 2023. Roll on 2024. More videos to come. I have no plans on stopping. I just want to give a personal thank you to every one of you guys that views in and watches these videos. Without you guys, this channel is nothing. It's dead. So sincerely, I love doing this. I love teaching, and you guys are, you know, you're making that happen for me. So I cannot thank you enough. I hope you all have a beautiful Christmas. I hope you all have a safe new year, and I will see you all in 2024. Peace out. Muchest love.